The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Steve Murray here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Today we're going to talk with Coach Dave Pimper. We're going to talk about Social Security claiming strategies and building seminar marketing around that a little bit. As I've mentioned a time or two, this has been one of the more successful seminar coaching ventures that we have put in place, and we've had some pretty successful ones. So really like what happens on the Social Security claiming side, and many of our producers would agree with me that this is a great way to grow business in kind of a non-threatening environment that shows consistent results. So we're going to talk about that with the coach here very shortly. As we get started, a couple things I wanted to mention to y'all. Number one, if you have a question, go ahead and type it in. We'll get it asked and answered just as quickly as we can. Number two, there will be a couple polls that will pop up. I would ask you to yes or no those just as quickly as you can so that we can keep moving during the course of the event. And none of those polls where you'd be making any commitments. We're simply gauging interest, and we don't mind if that interest is no. So don't be afraid to answer yes or no. Obviously, anything questions that we have along the way, we would love to get answered as quickly as possible. I want to get going as quickly as possible as well on the meat of the webinar here, but I want to run through a couple of things that I know will be of interest to a good portion of the folks here that may not be familiar with all the things that we do here at IAM. So a couple things that you want to be aware of. This referred producer program, ongoing, we send out the biggest checks of anything that we send out here at IAMS as a result of our referred producer program. Very simple program. When you refer someone to us, they do business. We pay you a bonus for referring them that is equal to 20 basis points of the commission that is earned by that individual. So it's a pretty simple program. It is designed to thank you for referrals. Besides that, please, if you've referred someone and we haven't been vociferous in our thank yous to you, please let me know that, because it's really important. It is the keystone, the cornerstone of the growth of our business over the past 32 years. So we do appreciate your referrals. Secondly, part of, I think, the reason that so many guys refer folks to IAMS has to do with the marketing reimbursement program. Again, a simple program. You do business, we put money into your marketing reimbursement program. You have marketing expenses. We match your spend dollar for dollar. Makes for a really, really positive marketing spend, and that's what helps you grow your business. When I look at the folks that generally are going to make our conventions year over year, be in the $1 million to $2 million to $4 million plus area, these are all folks that have something regularly that they do from a marketing standpoint to grow their business, whether it's seminars, lead purchases, lead mailouts, things like that. So we want to be a part of that and really put our money where our mouth is when we say that that's a key to success over time is having some regular marketing that you do. We can help you with what that marketing could be, and we'll talk about that here shortly as well. So there are three ways that, and I'm just looking at our list of attendees. I've got probably a little over half of the folks that I would say are probably, though, licensed with us, not yet done business with us. So this is going to be applicable to you. New producer program is very simple. When you do business with us in your first 180 days, you qualify any one of these three levels. A couple that I will call your specific attention to is at the 300,000 point level. Social Security program will pay for your mailing and get you the Social Security program at the 500,000 level. We will pay. We actually have a 4,000 piece mailing, but I think for seminars to do with Social Security, we increase that to 5,000 or 6,000 pieces. We pay for your coaching with Dave Pimper, and we pay for the Social Security program that you need. So we'll get you set up in the Social Security claiming seminar business and get you up and rolling with everything that you need to be, and you will be successful. We'll get you with everything that you need to be successful when you do your first 500,000 of annuity business with us. That converts to lesser amounts for single premium life and regular life business. So I know the folks that board with us here today, experienced, successful producers, you do that business. What I'm saying is, if you haven't done business with IAMS, give us a shot. When you reach the 300 or 500,000 level, we're going to pay for a good portion of your expenses expenses to get in the Social Security claiming business. And obviously, as you look at that, you can see the other things that we're going to do as well to help you grow your business. All of those are really a lot of different ways that we can help you grow your business. There's some ways that we just reward you for your business. We'll put you a website in place. We actually will do a excess deposit, if you will, to your marketing reimbursement account. So if you're already spending money on seminars or mailings and you just want to increase the amount of money that you can do on that, we will kind of flood your marketing reimbursement account if you choose to use your new producer bonus that way as well. So let us know how we can help you with your business. That's the main key there. Back office support, I'm just going to spend like a minute on this because there's nobody better in the business than IAMS on back office support. If you stood all of my competitors up, they would tell you that as well. That's what we do best. We may not be, at the forefront with, new marketing systems and things like that. But if you want someone that's going to follow your business through from submission to commission and keep you informed along the way and take care of everything that they possibly can for you to make that business go through quickly and smoothly and with little trouble to you, then you need to do business with IAMS. We're as good at that as anybody. If that's part of your business that you hate, or that is taking away from your sales time because you're fooling with all the paperwork stuff, nobody better at it than I am. So give us a shot there. Creative marketing. So I mentioned to you, there's the marketing part of the business is probably the most often ignored or neglected, at least part that. Because we're not good at it. We're good people. We're good in front of people. We know our products, but marketing tends to be something that separates the folks that have regular and consistent and efficient customer appointments and additional business from existing customers. A lot of that has to do with what you do marketing-wise, how you package yourself, what people perceive you as. Are you more referable because you've got the basics in place that somebody says, this is an individual that runs a professional office that has a professional internet footprint that I feel good about referring. So you're going to get more referrals when all this stuff is in place. And for most of the guys that I talk to, referrals is kind of like it is for IAMS. It's a big part of their business. Can you more efficiently meet new customers by using Facebook and by doing things, regularly to your customers? No doubt. And so let us help you with that. We've got folks. For us, what we look to happen with our creative department is we need them to do our stuff, our emails and get our creative stuff out. And we know we got to pay them to do that. We know, too, that they can support our producers and they can do it very efficiently and do it without a lot of input from the producer himself because we've done it so many times. So it's as long as we don't lose money on that part of our business, we're really happy with making that available to you at as little possible cost as can make sense. So a lot of the stuff we do for free. We've got a lot of stuff where we just say, hey, give us your logo or let us help you with your logo. And then we'll get these brochures branded and then you can just drop those in the mail or put them out on your website or, hand them out if you're doing seminars or hand them out to folks that really make that up the image of your business. We can help you with Facebook stuff. We can help you with email marketing campaigns. We do websites that are very easy and inexpensive for our producers. I've talked to guys that spend thousands on getting a website set up. There's no reason for that. We can do a better one, easier and less expensive for you. And it just really, you need to take advantage of the marketing department. And for those of you that aren't with us yet, if the FMO or IMO that you're doing business with is not doing this type of stuff for you, you'll be surprised how we can do it, how it can make you look and how inexpensively or free that we can do that for you. So give our creative team a shot. We got, Tasia and Josh and Andrew over there. Their names sound young because they are young, because they know how to do this stuff. And that's the age of the people that do it, but they're very good at it. They've done it for thousands. So that's an exaggeration. They've done it for hundreds of our agents over the years, and they're pretty good at it by now. So they can do some good stuff for you. I'm not going to go over IAMS website because we've already talked about that. I want to talk about Retirement Analyzer real quick. So you all saw the DOL delay. It goes into effect now, not until 2019, but you all know that there are some things about that are still in effect. So you need a program like the Retirement Analyzer or like, Bucket Bliss, or, there's a number of different programs that you can use that will talk your client through the process, and that then you can put in a folder along with your 8424 disclosure that now you're covered. Should any question ever arises, did you make the right recommendation to your client? Did you make the one that's in best interest of your client? Did you find the best product for your client? You need a program like this. Beyond that, this is going to help you grow your sales. And we right now are taking care of the costs of the Retirement Analyzer for our producers. So if you're not using a program like this, if you want to learn more about it and then maybe look and say, hey, is this one I should use, or do I need to use one? Give Marcus Soller here a call in our office and just ask him to send you, have him tell you a little bit about it, walk you through the process, walk you through it a little bit, and then if you want to get a complimentary link and try it out for 90 days or so and see if it's a fit for you, we take care of the expense of that, and it gives you a chance to try it. So if you haven't looked at a program like this, Retirement Analyzer I think is probably one of the best. Give that a shot. Wealth management. So I'm going to throw just a quick poll up here, and while that poll comes up, I'm going to talk with you a little bit about why IAMS introduced IAMS Wealth Management. And there we go. Sorry about that. Took me a second to get that launched. So we introduced IAMS Wealth Management at the beginning of this year, and we did, no doubt, push up the timetable on the release of IAMS Wealth Management based on DOL considerations. Now that we've had that delay in place, and I don't think a lot of folks understand that delay. I know internally a lot of our marketing folks don't necessarily understand 100% what that delay is all about and what's going to happen. Frankly, some of that is not to be understood. It's unknown at this point. But I think from a business standpoint that you ought to, if you haven't already, you ought to consider kind of the basic premise of why the DOL has entered their opinion into our business and what they're trying to accomplish, because what they want to do is going to get done one way or another, and you need to be prepared for it one way or another. Now, how that preparation actually takes place between now and July of 2019, and what you actually need to prepare for and how you decide to prepare for it, those are things that are open to question. But there's going to be some change in our industry that is going to require you to look at your business just a little bit differently, not like a 180, more like a 30-degree or 20-degree turn in your business. And one of those turns, one of those options, one of the things you might want to look at is, does it make sense for me to be able to myself, instead of shifting that to maybe referring that to someone else, does it make sense for me to myself be able to handle things other than insurance products? And IAMS Wealth Management, the IAR is an RIA that services IARs, is certainly one solution. That's why we pushed that timetable up, because there was a period of time when it was going to almost be required that you have the ability to do some of the things that an RIA can do for you. And that time may come, but you've got a little reprieve here. So think about it. If you're interested in learning more about IAMS Wealth Management, keep in mind that IAMS Wealth Management was, at heart, we work with insurance producers. And so even IAMS Wealth Management, though it's a purveyor of securities products, is going to be designed in a way to help insurance folks transition into that business smoothly and seamlessly, and as inexpensively and efficiently as you can. So if you're looking at that, I would encourage you to take a minute and look at IAMS Wealth Management. If you're already an IAR, I'm going to tell you, if you haven't looked at IAMS Wealth Management as an option, if you're not happy with your current RIA, then look at IAMS Wealth Management, because I think you're going to like the way that they've simplified the process, and also the payouts that they pay out, and the cost of doing business with them relatively low. So they're efficient, very cost-effective way for you to be in the IAR business. So again, look at that. I know that many of you have responded, some of you have not, which is okay. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. I'm going to guess those of you who have not responded probably don't have interest or haven't thought about it enough. We'll talk about this over the next few months. We've got some time here, but I think it would be good for you all to at least give some consideration to it. So I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out. Thank you to all of you that did take a moment to respond quickly, but I do want to get moved on here. So I close that poll out. And I want to talk about Life and Annuity Academy. So the first one is going to be in March of 2018. Obviously, we do some of them here in Omaha. We do some in Des Moines. We'll probably look at shifting maybe one of them down to a southern location. But the first one we have lined up right now is going to be in March of 2018. We'll do 4 probably in 2018. If you have interest in joining us for Life and Annuity Academy, what I want you to do is to go ahead and hit yes on this poll coming up real quick. Again, I'm going to close this one down fairly quickly because I know most of you out there are familiar with it. Many of you, I'm just looking at our attendees, have already been to one. If you've been to one in the last couple of years, I would ask you to check no and give me a call on this poll, because we do want to give folks that have not yet taken advantage of an academy the chance to come in. But I certainly understand that you might want to come back in. So check no on that poll and give me a call and we can talk about it. But if you haven't been to one, the Life and Annuity Academy is really, it's a sales and marketing based academy for top producers. Dave is one of our presenters. We have 3 other top producers that present as well. And the core of that is to help folks that are experienced in our business and have reached a level of success just based on the fact that they've, continued to be in our business for 19 or 20 or 25 years. And now they want to maybe retool, lay a different foundation for the business to better build relationships with clients, to meet efficiently new clients, get in front of more prospects. That's what the Life and Annuity Academy is all about. It's built around helping you to get in front of more people, to sell more annuities and sell more single premium life and sell more life insurance. And that's what the 4 top producers are going to talk about. That's kind of what the IAMS team talks about as well, as different ways to grow your business. We'll talk about, marketing and sales ideas. Obviously, we'll have the 4 top producers there that will talk about things specifically that they've done in their business that have helped them lay that's really sound foundation for great success. That's what it's all about. We're going to take care of your expenses. We're going to bring you in. You're going to have to commit 3 days away from your business. We're going to bring you in on Wednesday. We'll have a full day Thursday. We'll get you out Friday, but you're going to be out of your business for 3 days. We understand that commitment. Our commitment is, taking that 3 days away from our schedule. Our top producers taking that 3 days away from their schedule, and then your hotel, travel, and meals while you're there. We're going to take care of all that. We know it works. We've been doing it for 15, 16 years now. Industry recognized, really. I think if you've talked to folks that are in our business, your cohorts in the business, many of them have heard of or been to our Life and Annuity Academy over the past 15 years. It's great stuff. If you haven't been to one, check yes. We'll send you out a registration form. We'll send you out an hour by hour agenda. Look at that. If it's of interest, send your registration form in. If it's not of interest, you say, hey, this doesn't look like somebody can use. Don't send your registration in. We won't call you. We won't bug you about it. So we'd love to have you join us. Thank you all for voting. Boy, we got a lot better voting on that one. I'm going to go ahead and close that one out as well. If you're unable to vote, call me. You see my number there, 800-255-5055. Let's get moved on. Boulders, that's our marketing summit. We're going to be out there in February. I see there are probably about 3 or 4 of you that are on here with us today that are on the bubble of qualifying. You've got the rest of the month to knock it out. Get me close. That's all I ask. I want you out there for the marketing summit. We'll announce the location for our next marketing summit very shortly, and qualification will begin for that January 1. That's a guest and a spouse. We go to some nice location. We have plenty of time for fun and games, but we also try and mix in a little bit of ways to help you grow your business as well. So love to have you join us on that. And with that, we're going to get to the heat and heart of the program with Dave Pimper. So for those of you that don't know Dave has been coaching with us since the early 2000s, done a great job with us. He had been a coach and continues to be a coach to the financial services industry. I asked him if he could help us and help our guys, and he has fulfilled that promise on a regular basis. If you look at many of our top producers, they've coached with Dave, whether it's on seminars or business practice development. He's done a great job with us. When I asked him if he had considered doing Social Security seminars a year or 2 ago, he said, I had not, but he said, look, if that's something that we should look at, I certainly will. True to his word, he did that, and since then I think he's found that to be a great part of his own business. Has become an expert. Beyond being just an expert in seminars, Dave has also increased his expertise on Social Security and Social Security claiming to, I think, probably, I don't know a producer that I could put them up against. And even the folks that this is what they do for a living, I think Dave probably knows as much or more than many of those. So great resource for our guys, not just for Social Security claiming and questions that might come up, but also for how to do a seminar on Social Security claiming, how to do it right to get the best return and to do the best job for your clients. So without further delay, I'm going to turn it over to the coach, Mr. Dave Pimper.
Hey, Steve, thank you very much, and I appreciate everybody being with us today. A lot of hubbub around Social Security claiming strategies. It's a very confusing subject. I think that the Social Security Administration, the government agency, wants to make it that way. And what's really interesting is in our business, it isn't what you know. I mean, you certainly have to know something about Social Security claim, but if you're excellent on knowing every single fact on Social Security claiming, how much more business does that go in get you in a year's time? It gets you really nothing, because otherwise the very smartest people would be the very best advisors. And so what happens, you have to get in front of people. That's why when you mix together a subject that is of great concern to almost everyone, 95% of the people in the U.S. Upon full retirement age has a Social Security benefit. And so they should find out of when the best time to take that Social Security benefit. So that's where seminar marketing comes into play. And we meld those two together, a great subject like Social Security claiming with a great marketing source to get in front of prospects through seminar marketing. Just real quick about myself, I've been in the business since 1981. I'm 62 years old. You can kind of figure that out. I started in my mid-20s. And first 3 years within insurance, and then I got within the securities world in 1984. And what happens is in my business right now, about 20% or maybe 25% of my business revolves around the fixed index annuity product for a guarantee, and the other part of my business is from the security side. Now, what happens is that Social Security by itself, the seminar that we show, it's not product oriented in any way. Not 1% is anything to do about a financial product. But what happens is Social Security, and I always say it's probably the worst water cooler talk. Hey, Dave, I took my Social Security at 62, you should too. I took my Social Security at 70, you should too. What's right for one person may be completely different with another person. And what's really interesting about this seminar system is it kind of builds upon to bring you in as the expert. Now, from a coaching standpoint, and we'll go over at the end here, I just don't give you a blueprint and say, follow this. I have 5 coaching sessions, about 45 minutes each, and in that coaching, in that training, what I do is I handhold you, mentor and coach you to really understand the ins and outs of Social Security claiming. And what happens is, and then we set a seminar up, and right now we're taking late January seminars at the earliest, because we're about 6 to 7 weeks out before the very first one. After that, we need about 3.5 weeks of lead time for the next seminar series. But what we're doing here is that it's twofold. One is we're getting you in front of hopefully many more prospects, qualified prospects from the seminar standpoint, but then we're also coaching you on, which is one of the greatest income sources that most every American has, and that's Social Security claiming. Those two together are powerful. You can become the expert in your area or in your neighborhood or in your city around Social Security claiming. So here we go. We're going to go through, this is a portion of the actual slides that we have. And see if Steve has given this to me. There we go. Yeah. So let's go in. Baby boomers. What are the years of the baby boomers? From 1946, born from between 1946 and 1964. Like I was born in 1955, I'm right in the middle of the baby boomers. But how to maximize Social Security claiming? So the questions that people have out there, the John Q and Josephine Q public, they're asking, For Social Security claiming, when's the best time to apply for the benefit? What age? If I'm married, how can I coordinate my benefit with my spouse's? If I take early, how much will I lose? If I delay, how much more will I earn? There's a survivor's benefit, a divorced benefit. And the new Social Security laws in 2015, are they going to affect me personally? They just want to know, will it be there? You know, is Social Security solvent? Is it going to be there? And you know, the very interesting things is, and if you listen to the politicians, you hear that Social Security is going bankrupt. By 2033 or 34, the Social Security Trust Fund is bankrupt. That's what they're telling the John Q. public. What's interesting is that right now there's $2.82 trillion. That's a T, trillion dollars in the trust fund. And it's still running a surplus, which is interesting. It will start running a deficit within the next 2 or 3 years, and then the deficit will be hard as those baby boomers with the high incomes and the high Social Security benefit are going to start pulling their benefit. What's interesting is when the Social Security Trust Fund is down to zero, say in 2033 or 2034, and it's bankrupt, you would think that if you have a $2,000 benefit and it's bankrupt, you'd get nothing. But remember, this is a pay-as-you-go system. There's about 3 workers for putting into the Social Security system, the payroll system, FICA, for every retired person. So even if there's no money in the trust fund, there's still about 77 cents on the dollar that you'd get from the people working, putting into Social Security. So when they say bankrupt, I think it's done, nada. There's no more money. There's actually 77 cents come in. So this is the kind of thing that you're really explaining to the people. By the time you're done with the hour presentation, which is about how long it takes, they're going to view you as the expert in Social Security claiming. But will it be there for me? Yeah. And they certainly are going to go in and make some changes. It's not going to affect someone my age 62. It's going to affect my son or my daughter who are in their 20s. But you know what? The easiest thing you could do is probably just raise. Remember, there's 3 important dates to Social Security or ages. So the earliest you can take is 62. It's the latest that you have to take or you just lose the benefit until you take 70. And then there's a time, an age in the middle called full retirement age or normal retirement age. If you're born from, if you're born, at certain dates. So what happens is if you're born from from 1954 or earlier, say from 1946 to 1954, your full retirement age is 66 years of age. If you're born after 54, then it actually goes up 2 months a year. Like I'm in 55, my full retirement age is 66 years and 2 months. Up to if you're born 1960 or later, it's 67. So when people come into your workshop, everyone's going to have a full retirement age between 66 and 67 years of age. If you take early, your benefit for life is reduced. If you wait later, your benefit for life is increased. That's the basics of Social Security, just the absolute basics. Now, what I'm going to show you here in the next maybe half an hour or so are some of the specifics. And if you have any questions, certainly go on in and mark those and, to type them in, and then we will go in and cover them at that time period. Okay? So what we're looking at here is that you're going to see more and more articles like this. Popular Social Security strategies nixed. They talked about file and suspend, which was nixed after 6 months on a phase-in. And there's actually a longer phase-in for something called restricted application that's still available for some participants right now. But you see more in the news. But why is maximizing Social Security, why is that so timely? Well, because very few people understand the subject. It's different than maybe if you talk about a 401k, more people understand or have a 401k. But until you actually take Social Security, you hardly know anything about it. It targets from 58 to 67-year-olds. That's who we mail to. These are much more educational in nature than they are from a sales product standpoint. So we have those at educational settings, libraries or colleges, museum, something that's educational, not at a restaurant. Those are not, we have no meals. I always say the prospects need us more than we need them. Horse's Mouth, which is a third-party vendor that we get our Social Security claiming seminar from, also all the analysis when you give them a free report. Yeah, that all comes from Horse's Mouth. And they want that report. That's kind of the hook on this, but they want that free report. There's a pretty high conversion rate from the actual workshop of getting the appointments. And then transitioning from Social Security, a non-financial product, to a financial product that you make a commission or a fee or a revenue from. That's a two-edged sword, has to be done professionally, has to be upfront, but really to understand when the best time to take someone, I call it the 5 pillars of income. You need to know what their wages are right now, what their pensions are going to be, what their income producing assets are. So that could be real estate income, rental income, 401k, 403b, 457, SEP simples, IRAs, Roth IRAs, brokerage accounts, CDs, money markets, all the things that could generate them a revenue. We flush those out and we get that information. And then how do you transition from that to the actual product itself? That's a real, it's kind of a touchy question, but it's a good question. And that's something that we certainly walk with you through that to explain it to you. So will it be there? Will Social Security be there? I'm going to tell you it will be. And we went through that. So look, you're from 43 to 54. So if you're born from 1943 to 1954, the full retirement age is 66. And then it goes up 2 months a year up to the age of 1960 over. Everything starts from the FRA, from the full retirement age. Now, if you take early, like if you take it 62, your benefit is reduced by 25%. If you're at a $1,000 benefit, your benefit will be $750. If your benefit was $2,000, it'll be 25% less than that is $1,500. If you wait to 63, the benefit goes up. And I always, from the seminar standpoint, I do it always at the full retirement age of 66, not 67. I try to keep it simple. Though a lot of the people there will be above, longer than 66 for full retirement age. Now, at full retirement age, if it is 66, every year that you wait, what happens is it goes up 8%, guaranteed 8% a year. Remember, all Social Security, every benefit, if there's a COLA, cost of living increase for inflation, then it will be shown, every single year. It actually goes up 0.2% every single month. It's a pretty big deal. So like next year, COLA's around 2.2%, so it's around 2%. So you're around 10% gain. So if you got a $2,000 benefit at full retirement age and wait 1 year, your benefit now is going to be $2,200. Next year, $2,400. Next year, $2,600. That's a lot. That's for the rest of your life. So it may be worthwhile to wait. So let's talk about some specifics. And if there's any questions, certainly type them on in. Is that spousal benefit? So basically, it says spousal benefit, you can get half of the primary worker's primary insurance amount if started at full retirement age. Or basically, you can take all of yours or half of your spouse's, whichever is higher, as long as the spouse, as long as you've started, or the spouse has started their benefit. So let's say John's primary insurance amount, PIA, what it is at 66 is $2,000. Jane's PIA primary insurance amount is $800. Jane wants to go in and take her benefit, and John is taking his too. She can take all of her $800 or half of John's $2,000, which is $1,000. Well, what's more? Well, $1,000 is more than $800. That's $200 extra that she gets. Okay? Now, if John doesn't take his benefit, then Jane can only take her $800. John would have to have taken his benefit. So it's all of the primary holders or half of the spouses, whichever is higher, as long as they both have started their Social Security benefit. Okay. Now, divorce spouse benefit is one of the benefits that is very easily forgotten about. And the Social Security Administration, they're not going to call you, write you a letter, warn you that you haven't taken it and losing money, it's just a money lost. But if your marriage lasted 10 years or more, you're currently unmarried and want to take a spousal benefit, and your spouse is at least 62 years of age, then you can use your spouse just as if you are still married to them. So what's the triple play again? That your marriage lasted 10 years or longer. You currently are unmarried. You could have got married after your divorce, but you had to be widowed or divorced again. But when you start claiming you're unmarried and your ex is at least 62, then you can have all of the benefits of a divorce, of a married couple, which there are benefits for spousal privileges in Social Security, just as if you're still married to them. So if you have clients that aren't taking a benefit because of that, then shame on them, because they're leaving money on the table. Now, survivor benefit, of course, includes a death of one of the Social Security holders. What happens here is, let's, for example, just say Joe and Julie. In this hypothetical, they're married. They're both over full retirement age. They're both 66 or over. Joe's benefit is $2,000. Julie's benefit is $1,200. Now, most of the people in this age bracket, or many of them, the female has a lesser, the majority, not all, of course, but then what the male is. It might have been that they spent time at home with the children. Doesn't happen as much in like our like my kids who are in their 20s are going to get married. Most of the time, they're both still working. But Joe's benefit in this example is $2,000. Remember, this is certainly is gender neutral. Could be Julie's benefits $2,000 and Joe's is $1,200. But in this case, Joe's $2,000, Julie's $1,200. Joe dies. So now Julie has the option to continue her benefit of $1,200, or she can let her benefit go and take over her deceased husband's benefit for as long as she lives. Once she dies, then it's done. Then it's over. It doesn't go to the kids. There's not a beneficiary if the husband and wife die. But now, what happens if Julie doesn't request it? She'll never get it. She has to go to the Social Security Administration online or in person and request the benefit. I had a lady whose primary beneficiary was $1,400 approximately. The husband was around $2,000. Oh, yeah, that's right, because there was got to think about this. His was $1,800, because there's about $400 difference between the two. $4,800, around $5,000 for the year. But it was a little of like 7.5 years that she did not go in and pull a benefit. So it was like $28,000 that she left on the table. Or it might be even 35. I think it was like $35,000 she left on the table, and lost it, completely lost it. She actually went in off of my recommendation, and she did get 6 months of retroactive benefit paid back. It's one of the do-overs. But can you imagine just being sick to your stomach that you didn't know the rules on Social Security claiming? This is how you really kind of feel good by helping people out that way. So that's on the survivor benefit. Now, the spousal benefits are interesting. The Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015 made some changes on file and suspend and restricted application. So file and suspend was phased out after 6 months. So you cannot file and suspend now. But restricted application actually doesn't phase out. They had an 8-year phase out, much longer phase out. Actually, the January 1 of 2024 is the last date that you could have any type of benefit from restricted. So if you're born, well, let's do this, before January 1 of 54, but actually if your age is 62 by 1/1 of 2016, you could do or have the option to do a restricted application with the spousal benefit. And you can do this also on divorced spousal benefits too. So let's explain what restricted application is. And so file and suspend has been done away, right? So we'll skip that slide. We'll go into restricted application. So this is letting yours grow at full retirement age, the 8% guarantee plus COLA, and then taking or giving. This happens to be going in and taking a spousal benefit. Remember, you can only take one spousal benefit at a time. So with restricted application, and you got to kind of follow with me here because this gets more complicated. But let's say Mike and Mary are both full retirement age. What age? We're saying 66. They're born from 1943, between 1943 and 1954. And Mike's primary insurance amount at full retirement age is $2,000. Mary's primary insurance amount is $800. Okay. Now Mary, she files for her benefit at 66. So she's going to go in and she wanted some money coming into the family. Mike does not want to take it. Let's say he's still working. He doesn't want to take it. He lets his grow the delayed retirement credit of 8% in cost of living. So here's what they can do. He restricts his application to just his wife's spousal benefit. So as his is growing 8%, he can collect monthly half of Mary's 800. How much is that? 400. That 400 he can collect. It's free money. That's 4,800 a year. 400 times 12 is 4,800. Times 4 years is the most he can do it till he's 70. Is 19,200. That's just free money. Hardly anyone gets that, but people who come to our seminar, they certainly they come in one-on-one. We help them with that. It's a neat benefit that hardly anyone ever uses because they just don't know about it. So then when Mike turns 70 and turns on his bigger benefit because he's delayed the cost of living benefit, well, then what happens? Well, now Mary, because he has to give up the $400 spousal, Mary now can go and take all of her 800 or half of Mike's benefit, not of what it was worth at 70, but what it was worth at 66, which was 2,000. Half of that's 1,000. Well, that's a $200 bump up she will get at 70. A lot of moving parts in there. And if you're confused, just think what the person in the crowd at your seminar goes, my gosh, this is information. I just got to get more information. I better sign up for a consultation with Dave. Yeah. Now, you're trying to keep it simple for them. Even if you keep it simple, it's still very, very difficult to understand, especially in a setting of a seminar setting. One of the interesting things about the seminar setting is I do not take questions from the crowd. The main reason is once they have the answer to their question, why do they really need to come in and talk to you? Plus, you can do such a much better question answering one-on-one. And most of the time when people ask me those questions, it's just specifically about their Social Security specifics. It may not interest the rest of the crowd. And if you start answering a lot of questions, you'll never get done in a reasonable time period of an hour, which you don't want to take much more than an hour's time period. Okay, any questions at all? So what can Social Security do and what can they not do? Well, first of all, when you go down to the Social Security Administration, and if you've ever not been to the office, you should go because it's like Baskin-Robbins on steroids. You pick a number in line to go in and talk to one of the agents, and then you'll wait and just kind of be amazed when you're looking around. It's a kind of a wild place. But they can estimate the individual benefit, the most you're entitled to right now. You know what they can't do? They can't do scenario planning like restricted application. In fact, they cannot offer you advice. Is that bizarre? In fact, this is actually from taking the Social Security claim, provide enough information so that the claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. I always find that amazing. I mean, I'm an investment advisor. That's what it says on my door. Dave Pimper, investment advisor, rep. Can you imagine a person coming in and says, can you give me some investment advice? No, I can do a lot of things, but I can't do that. Yeah, that's what happens at the Social Security office. So what does it do for a person like us that has expertise in Social Security? We, of course, can give advice. We want to give advice. We want to give the greatest Social Security claiming advice we possibly can to really help that prospective client. So this is the yellow page, and this isn't actually doesn't show up on the slide like this, but I put those together because this slide really makes an impact of when we take out the evaluation form, which is where they mark yes, they want a consultation at no charge. But I call it the 5 pillars of income. So in there, to really find out when to take Social Security, we need to find out really 6 things. We need to figure out what their current income is from work and pensions, from income producing assets that could be turned into income, what their RMDs are going to be on their qualified and IRA money, because it's you're forced to take it out. Unless it's a Roth, you're basically forced to take that money out at 70.5. And then Social Security, I always say, is the most flexible. It's how it fits in with those other sources. We need to know also a little bit about your longevity, how long you think that you'll live. I know that's strictly subjective, and no one but Almighty knows when you're going to pass. But I will tell you this, is that the earlier you're going to pass, I mean, if you've just got bad DNA in your family, everyone's died from lung cancer by the time that they're 75, well, you know what? Why would you wait then for a higher benefit? You might as well take it as early as you can. So once you get all that information, then you can plug this all into the computer and show them if you took the earliest, if you waited the latest, and when is the most opportune maximize your Social Security time is. So as you're uncovering all this, when you look from a money standpoint, if we find out how much they make at work, say he makes $62,000 a year and she makes $38,000 a year, does that make us money? No. How about pensions? We find out that there's a small government pension of $300 that he's going to get. Does that make us money? No. How about RMDs? No, it's just a figure of how much they're going to get unless they reinvest it. But the income-producing assets, and when you're finding out about their dormant 401ks, their 401ks, their Roths, their IRAs, the bank money, well, then all of a sudden, you're looking at all those individual assets and finding out if they're happy with it or the type of return they are. I had one that had over $500,000 in money market, earning like 0.3%, and they said that's too much. And I said, well, it might be. And I went back and we worked with part of that money. So you're uncovering the assets here in a very professional manner for their best interest, but now we're able to go in and possibly work with a portion or all of that money that we uncover. And I call that found money. That's a great thing about Social Security claiming. 95% of the people take Social Security. We're only mailing to people that have X amount of assets. So, because that's how we make our money, which is well deserved. We're helping people with their financial plan. Well, very few people know much about Social Security, so we're giving that information. And then when they come in, it isn't just Social Security, but how it works in congruent with their other assets. That's where we uncover everything, and we have a chance to maybe work with some of that found money. Now, as I said, Horse's Mouth, that's a third-party system. So there's a cost to Horse's Mouth. It's $512 is the IAMS cost. They get a little bit of a discount on that. But what happens is that you've got there's about 300 pages of reading. And I'll say something about Social Security. If you're not willing to put in a little bit of time, if you think you're just going to take the 5 coaching sessions from me and you're going to know everything about Social Security, you're wrong. Because what happens is once you read, in fact, there's the 300 pages from Horse's Mouth, but there's also 3 books that I have you read on Social Security that are real easy. They're like 2 hours each. But you need to put in for 3 to 4 hours a week of study time with Social Security for a month. If you do it for 4 weeks, you'll know a lot about Social Security. But Horse's Mouth instead of doing it in-house, we did this from a third party. It's all FINRA reviewed material. If you for the workshop, if you are securities licensed, It has the free the software with the system that is free to your prospective clients to show them the different times of taking Social Security, when the most opportune maximum time is. All the calculators are there. Yeah, it's a very, very good system. And for $512 for that year's time, it's hard to beat. Then the renewal on that is $300 to $400 a year after that. Myself actually presented over 465 public workshops since the mid 1980s. I try to make a complicated subject for you much easier to understand. In the 5 coaching sessions, I get paid from coaching. I'm not in an override system. I'm not in your hierarchy. I get paid from coaching. I get paid $150 per coaching session. That's $750 over the 5 sessions. So what happens is that what happens here is that those 5 sessions, you don't pay the full $150 per session. As long as you qualify, meaning that you can get contracted and you're going to work some business through IAMS, Insurance Agency Marketing Services, the FMO that I coach for. What happens is that they will then pay for about 2/3. They pay for $555 to me of the $750. So you have $195 cost to you for the coaching that we take by debit or credit card over the phone. Very inexpensive. It's a turnkey system, A through Z. There's about 30 attachments that come to you, between 25 and 30 attachments, that come to you from the seminar coaching. And what happens is that, you've got someone, i.e. Dave Pimper, myself, that you can email or that you can call, that I will help you and guide you along to really understand. I keep that ongoing support. Once you coach with me, you can always call me down the road. Almost every day, I have someone that emails me or calls me that are a current or past coaching client. So you're not doing it alone. You don't just have the blueprint, but you have someone who's done this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. Okay? So as we're kind of wrapping it on up here, first of all, if there's any questions at all, certainly write them down, and I will go on in. And Steve is going to go and put up a poll. And if you would like to get more information on Social Security seminars, Social Security coaching for seminars, then I'm going to throw this over to Steve. Steve can certainly put his verbiage in here, but I would love to talk with you. And you can just mark yes, and then Lynn or Amy, one of our 2 administrators from our office, will give you a call to line up a good 25, 30-minute call with myself to see if I can help you from a marketing and Social Security claiming standpoint. Steve, I'll kind of hand it over to you now.
Thank you, Dave. So great job as always. Appreciate it. And Dave is going to be available here for just a few more minutes to answer the couple of questions. Well, there's some number of questions that probably are too specific, so I'm going to ask you to have those conversations with Dave, maybe one-on-one. But I've got a couple questions that have come up here that I think we can ask the group, and are pretty general and helpful for everyone. So we'll get that done in a minute. A couple things I would like to mention here, and Dave has covered everything, I think, pretty thoroughly. The one thing that from a practical standpoint that I've noted is that a lot of guys that maybe have had concerns about doing a seminar because of the speaking part of it have had really good luck on the Social Security side, because there is less showmanship involved in this, and certainly it's more of a teacher-student type of relationship that you have. You don't have any questions. You don't want to take any questions during the event, so it's a really easy way to get into the seminar business if you've not done that before. And the good news about that is when you look at folks that regularly do larger amounts of business, almost all of them have some facet of seminars in there as part of their normal marketing. And so if doing seminars has been something that you've not wanted to get involved in for any number of reasons, but probably the most likely is that fear of speaking to groups, I think you'd find the Social Security seminar among the easiest ways to bridge that gap. So consider it if you've thought, well, I don't want to do seminars because of that, or maybe I think I should do seminars, but I haven't because I haven't found just the right fit. I think you'll find the Social Security claiming to be a very good fit, not only because of the ease of it, but also because it is one we have a lot of seminars available, and over the past 15, 18 years that we've been introducing guys to seminars, this has been one of the most successful and ongoing successful seminar approaches that we've ever done. So if you haven't done it, give it a shot, and mark yes on that poll. At least explore it more deeply with Dave. That being said, Dave, there are a couple of questions, and some of them are ones that come up every time, so we probably should include that maybe a little bit in the presentation. But so go through the numbers, if you will, in a little bit of detail on what you're seeing, because I know you do non-Social Security claiming seminars and you do Social Security claiming seminars. What differences do you see between those two in terms of the numbers?
Yeah, Social Security is a more complicated subject. People just don't understand. Think about it. When I was young and I knew I was paying money out in taxes, I knew some of it was income taxes and some of it was payroll taxes, and I knew it went to Social Security, but I knew that I couldn't take this for 30, 40, 50 years. I mean, it didn't make any sense to me at all. I just knew that's what I had to do, and everybody told me back when I started in my late teens or in my teens making money that Social Security, you better save because Social Security is not going to be there when you retire, but it is here. 80 years later, Social Security is still here from when it started. So what happens is that Social Security, very few people, only 3% of the public really understand the Social Security system, the ins and outs. Only about 17% of advisors do. So it's an area that you can really make an impact on and have a expertise that most people and advisors don't. You can kind of be the designated go-to person in your area. So what happens is when you do a mail out, that's why we don't have to have a meal with this. We don't have to lure them in with a prize or with a meal or with free gift cards or whatever it happens to be. It's strong enough on its own without a meal. Saves you money. People aren't there just for the meal. They're there to actually spend an hour, hour and a half to get good information, educational information. So if we mail out 6,000 pieces, that's the cost. The cost is in the mail piece. We still do a hard copy, and the cost is going to be 55 cents a piece. So you have $3,300 that's wrapped up in the mail piece. And we also do with Social Security claiming, not our dinner seminars, but we've had very good success with social media, which is going to run around $500. So you got $3,800 wrapped up in the cost. There's about $100 for the 800 number, and then there could be a room cost, or there could be, so you got about $4,000 wrapped up in marketing that workshop. The very first time for that first year, you also have $500 that's in buying the horse's mouth. So you've got a good size investment. But remember, if you're doing marketing at $4,000 and then the 1 year cost for horse's mouth at $500, what happens is you basically got to go in and do a $70,000, $80,000 annuity to break even. Anything above that makes you money. And what we find is if you mail out 6,000, you're probably going to get about 0.7%. Around 40 people will come between 2 nights. And of those 40 people, you got 26, 27 buying units. And so you got about half of those will come in for appointments. So anywhere from 10 to 13, 14 couples or individual people will be coming in and having an appointment with you. And the majority of those want Social Security, but part of those people will bring in investment statements or statements from the bank. I mean, just things that you can help them with from the entire holistic financial plan. And what you hope happens out of those 13 appointments, you probably set half to 60% are second appointments, and about half of those turn into clients. Probably anywhere from 1 to 3 people are buying units per workshop. That's kind of the average. I mean, what we're trying to do if I can bring in $250,000 of assets, kind of AUM, assets under management, then I'm pretty happy. I've paid for the workshop, all the expenses, and I've made some pretty good money. So I'm not going to come here and talk about the millions and millions and millions. Have I done over $1 million in a workshop? Of course I have. But if you've got 10, 12 appointments, pretty hard for you to go out of that and not do some business with one or two or three of those people. So it's been a very, very worthwhile, productive prospecting means, and giving education. And I'll tell you this: I've got people that would never have dreamt that they would do financial business with me, but they say, "Gosh, if you're that good with Social Security, I bet you're probably good with financial strategies also, i.e. fixed indexed, or if your securities licensed, something from that end." So yeah, it's been of all the seminars I've done, out of 465 or 66 seminars, I think that I probably have done 55, 60 on Social Security claiming. They've been very, very profitable for me through the years. And Steve, I'll let you take it from there.
I do love that question on a couple of levels, because number one, I like, you hear so many kind of inflated claims from our competitors, like,
yeah,
the seminar spend this money
all the time.
I just feel I'm a producer's guy, and I know they're kind of taking advantage of what we all want, which is, gosh, we all want, easy money. And, there's nothing easy about it, but it is a systematic, foundational way that guys can get in front of more people, and guys do them over and over again, and they meet more clients, and they get more referrals. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and I like it because it is something that, you mentioned that, you talk to clients that you never thought you'd do business with. I talk to producers all day long that never thought they would be able to pull off a seminar, that just love what Social Security has done for their Social Security claiming seminars have done for their business. So
right.
I really like this seminar approach. I like just having the expertise, I think, is important for guys that are in the retirement planning business. Not to have that Social Security retirement expertise, I think, is a real negative, but to be able to couple that with a way to meet new prospects really relatively inexpensively, I bet you can count on your hand, maybe one hand, the number of seminars you've had that haven't turned profitable for you almost relatively quickly after the seminar. And you and I both know that sometimes somebody meets you at a seminar a year ago and they come back to you. And
right, and Steve, let me say something I'm sorry, but let me say something real quick about that.
Sure.
You're so right. But the reason is because we have a system of following up with that prospect that most people think, hey, I'll pay $4,000, I'll go and mail everything out, and then business is just going to roll on in. But it's a contact. I always say this is more of a contact business than football is.
Yes.
And the reason is, when we mail out, it comes in, just to let you know, so it does take some time. It isn't just simple or easy because everybody would do it. So here's what happens is, it's mailed out, then it comes back to you in an email from the 800 that someone signed up. And let's say it's Steve Murray. Well, then I call Steve Murray or leave a message and say, hey, Steve, Dave Pimper, I just want to let you know, I see that you signed up with your wife, Barb, and you know what? We're looking forward to seeing you. That's on Tuesday. If you have any questions, it's at Laszlo's, or it's at the library, or wherever it's at. But what happens is there's a touch. Then we mail them out a letter, and you guys get all this information of what to say. You get the template of the letter. Then we call them the day before. So there's been several contacts. So people say, well, how can you get almost 100% of your people there when you have a workshop? Well, because it isn't just that they signed up 3 weeks ago and then you hope they come in 3 weeks. And so there's a system from there and through the appointments of handwritten letters and also letters about the map of how to get to you. We have a very systematic A through Z turnkey system, and you want to follow it to the T. If you want to make some changes, do it after you've had some success after your second or third workshop mailing. If you want to make some changes there, but you should follow this to the T in the very beginning because it's a proven track. It works.
Absolutely.
No guarantee that it's perfect, but it works if you follow the system. And this has been, as you know, it's been through much trial and error for the invitation, for the type of how we work the three presentation system to close, but also when I'm coaching, I'm not a coaching that used to produce. I'm in production every single day. I'm pounding the pavement just like all of my clients are who sign up for this. So I can relate to almost everything you're saying. And hopefully with the two of us, you'll gain some kind of inside knowledge and then kind of puts your personality and your touch, but you're not doing it alone. And that's the difference of people making it in the seminar business and not.
Yeah, great input and timely, because we know that it doesn't take much going off the rails to cause an issue in the seminar business, and they can be expensive mistakes. So it's good to have rails, and really good to stay on them. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Now we have gone over time, so I'm gonna, Dave, there, and I'll mention this. So Scott, John, Tracy, and Peter, I know you have some more specific questions, so I'm going to refer those to Dave, and his team will call you. They'll set up a time, and we'll get those questions answered for you very specifically. They're a little bit more specific questions to do with today's presentation. So we'll make sure that Dave gets in touch with you on that. Appreciate the input from everyone. We've had what I think is a really good webinar today. So thank you all for joining in. Hopefully we got most of the questions answered that came up. I am going to close the poll out. Thank you all for voting. It was really good participation in that as well. And if any other questions should arise, certainly you can call me at the office. I think I've given you the number, and you might have seen it a time or two, but it's 800-255-5055. Just ask for Steve, and I'll refer you to Dave if necessary. If I can answer a question about the process or costs or anything like that, I'll be glad to do that as well. So been a great webinar today. Thank you, Dave, for taking some time out of your schedule and joining us. I know you've got a very busy one. Thank you, all of you out there. Great attendance today, great participation, and we think a lot of the people that are trying to build their business and going about trying to learn new things all the time to help their clients and grow their business. So whatever we can do to help you all here at IAMS, that's what we're about. We look forward to chatting with you. So have a great finish to your sales day. And again, thank you for attending. Is there anything you want to say as we close out, Dave?
No, I just thanks everybody for taking the time today and sharing it with us. And hopefully I'll get be able to talk to quite a few of you, and maybe can lead you on the path of getting in front of more qualified prospects.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you all, and have a great finish to your day. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.